Mr. Keeper, Miss Kitty Prescott is here to pay you a visit. My secretary always lets potential employees talk to me about job openings before letting them skip the application procedure, even though I didn't know anyone by that name. Permit her to come in. A tall, pretty girl with red hair smiled her way into my office. She wore a pretty casual suit that showed off her body. Have a seat. Sorry, I won't be around for long. I have to be sure I'm talking to the right person. Are you recognizing Jonathan Kuiper? Yes. Are you also the bailiff? Did you really expect me? When people see me, they often react more negatively. Although I've been waiting for a divorce decree for some time, I wasn't sure if this was the appropriate moment. I assume you have an envelope for me. I'm sorry for taking myself out of the game. Jonathan Kuiper, you are finished. She laughed. I've never seen someone smile at me when I serve them. You have to be loaded with anecdotes about services. If you are not in a hurry, kindly take a seat. That piques my curiosity. Having stated that, I am done serving clients today. Sure, let's have a quick discussion. Would you like a drink? A mimosa seems like a great idea. There it is again, that charming smile. Just tea, coffee, and soft drinks. Please, I apologize. Mountain Dew diet? Not a problem. Miss Adcock? For Miss Prescott, could you go on a Mountain Dew diet? I would go myself, even though I wouldn't feel comfortable leaving my guest unattended. I'm delighted you gave me permission to finish at least one of my assignments. I worry about what you'll do on your own when I'm not around because you take on so much of my workload. Miss Prescott must have realized that I was just having a casual talk with my secretary, as we usually do. Miss Adcock, you know how reliant I am on you. She smiled. Would you like anything else while I get her a Coke? It would go very well with some green tea. Please be warm. Tea bags or Keurig machines? Keurig. Miss Adcock has come into the kitchen. So when I heard about the impending divorce, Miss Prescott, what was I to do? I usually get back to you with one of three answers. Either they don't say anything or they're shocked. Sometimes it's denial. It isn't achievable. That kind of shouting is more often anger, and it's usually directed at me. I'm going to kill that bitch, or bastard. I worry that one of the angry parties might actually try to kill the messenger at some point. That must be horrible, God. Do you have any kind of protection? Instead of carrying pepper spray, I now carry a stun gun. There was a sly gleam in her eye. Naturally, I also keep condoms on hand, just in case. I continued, figuring it was a joke. It's functional but not elegant. I wouldn't be polite if I asked how often you have to use them. Being sensitive has never been my strong suit. Do you intend to begin your career with this position, or are you still enrolled in school? You are right about the career choice. My purpose in working here is to supplement my income while I'm in law school. I express this in a way that is flattering to your field of work rather than derogatory. You seem to have aspirations beyond being a paralegal. My goal is to become a lawyer one day. I have the grades to go into any university, but my parents cannot afford to send me to college. I am unable to obtain a student loan due to my father. My older sister is still living at home since she is unable to make ends meet and pay off her student loans and rent for a decent apartment. My objective was to find a law firm that could help me get into an online university and, if I was successful, help me get into law school. Without a spouse, lover, or sugar daddy to offer assistance. A wealthy dude. Her accent shifted to that of a fake Southern belle. Why, John? Who do you think I am? He noticed the twinkle in her eyes again. I think you're a very gorgeous and fascinating young woman. I hope what I said wasn't offensive. I just figured that someone as smart and gorgeous as you could know a few things. You did, in fact. She leaned closer to me, baring more of her top and cleavage. I'd never really thought about either of them until now. Do you make a suggestion? Are you sure you'll have enough money after the divorce? I have enough time to protect the majority of my assets. I'll have the money. I'm just giving us an opportunity to get to know one another. I'll be spending a few days managing your gift. What if we went to your favorite restaurant on a Saturday night? Will you be the one to drop me off? I want you to be free to leave if you don't like me. Indeed. This gets more and more fascinating every time. I've never been to Guy's mother's Italian garden. Is that how it usually is? It's reputed to be the best location in town. Is it not? Okay, it's 6 p.m. Sure, I'll be here. Great, just hand your card to my secretary. Would you like me to just give it to you? My wife will be jealous when she learns. She's always getting gossip from my secretary. Clever man. I'm liking you more and more. I sincerely hope you will accept that this is not the way I usually greet a man who is attractive. Miss Adcock came into my office as I was about to leave. I was overheard by the woman who filed your divorce suit. Could you tell me more about your connection with Jesse? Or are you simply going to make me squirm out of curiosity? Jessie has had depression for a few months. At first, I thought she was cheating on me. I have the impression that she has been looking for an excuse to get rid of me lately. So in the event that the motion finds that I committed adultery, she will be labeled as the victim and I as the villain. What say you now? Do you know Miss Adcock? How would I go about finding out? Considering that I would undoubtedly be having an affair with you. We laughed and pouted together all day long with Miss Adcock when I withdrew her from my embrace, even though I had intended to kiss her. I knew exactly which motel I would stay at before I even looked for an apartment. I carried an additional set of clothes and toiletries to the motel from my office. If my wife wasn't at work tomorrow, I planned to bring spare clothes from home, barring a lock change. I was at my favorite bar when my wife sent me the first SMS. How are things going for you? You're having a late dinner now. We have to talk. This struck me as odd, given that the divorce papers had been filed earlier. It was too late to ask for my permission to talk to me. She assumed that I didn't want to go back home and that I was upset. I ignored her completely. An hour later I got the question, "When are you coming home? I have important things to discuss." I turned off my phone and got ready for bed. When I woke up, I deleted all of my calls with her. Where you gave way to what's going on and so on. I had scheduled a month's leave of absence from work immediately following the filing of a counterpetition for divorce by my attorney, which asked for an ordinary equal divide. My assistant would take care of everything in my absence. I used this chance to find out more information on Kitty. Jesse began delivering other messages a few weeks later. John the First, I'm sorry, but Miss Adcock told me that you've received divorce papers after receiving your counteroffer. I called her. You weren't supposed to be served just yet. I was told to have them ready for shipment just in case, but for some reason they were sent ahead of schedule. I wanted to talk to you initially. It's probably for the best. The image pretty much sums everything up. You lying is going to earn me a better bargain. I looked inside the envelope for the photo. But there was none. It didn't require much thought on my part. I doubt that any of our relatives or friends understood the picture. My sister Leona emailed me the picture. It featured me planting a passionate kiss on a woman. Leona laughed, as did I. This was a woman we knew quite well. She was our godmother, Mary Margaret, the lady who helped care for our mother in her final days with cancer, and our mother's closest friend. She has kissed each of our lips since we were little. We never paid much attention to it. We called her MM, and she was gorgeous, even though she was 19 years my senior. I like to imagine that this embarrasses Jesse. Jesse wrote, I know the photo of you kissing that slut has been shared with all of our friends in his letter. I'll talk to him about it because I think I know who provided the pictures. Once more, not a big problem, even though it wasn't the right thing to do. I have forensic scientists verifying the photo, so please don't tell me it's not real. The picture was shot right after you and her left the hotel. I hope to see you in court. When Jesse opened the door prior to the start of the court hearing, the woman in the photo was standing in the doorway. She was surprised. Mary Margaret went door to door. Jesse was too shocked to contest it. Mary Margaret served Jesse with a criminal complaint, claiming that she was defamed. She had a computer expert investigate Jesse's laptop to find the email's original source. Trying to discredit me, she sent Jesse an email with a picture of her and me snuggling in the subject line, "This is my supposedly faithful husband and his whore kissing after their afternoon of quick sex at the hotel, but I never did. Please keep it out of the courtroom. I would want to thank you for bringing down my blood pressure. For a long time it wasn't high enough. Now that everything is back to normal, I'm irritated. I am a mother bear protecting her young. Heed my warning. I helped my closest buddy raise 2 children, John and his sister. I've been kissing him on the lips ever since I changed his first diaper. Telling people that my godson and I were having an affair is more than unpleasant. We were noticed leaving the hotel since he stopped by to take me to lunch. I stayed there while I was there. It's been over a year since his mother died. All right? I don't care how much my attorneys bill. I'll come after you for everything you're worth. That is, in monetary terms. I don't think you're worth much as a person if you've gone to this level of degradation, but whatever. Jesse stood behind Mary Margaret, stunned into incredulity. Shortly after Mary Margaret informed me of her visit with Jesse, Jesse sent me a message. John, I think I made a big mistake. I listened to horrible advice from someone else and allowed him make the decision that he felt was best for me. I beg you to come home, and I will not divorce you. We've got a lot on our minds. I'm sincerely sorry. Together, I'm sure we can find happiness again. Please give me another chance. I decided that I would respond. Who told you that he saw me and Mary Margaret check out of the hotel? Who took the picture? Who judged you and gave you recommendations? That has to be the same person. Jesse said nothing. I realized why. She got too scared to answer, so I filled in the blank. Blake is the offender, as far as I'm aware. He's been following you for a while, even if you won't admit it. Additionally, I assume that he was awarded the desired prize. Still, he gives everyone at the Sportsman's Grill his assurance. I'm not going to give up on my divorce application. A split of 50/50 makes reasonable. Blake's wife might not be as receptive, but he will surely be on to you. I watched the video of Blake bragging about how he made you fall in love. And she didn't seem happy. I hope to see you in court. She received countless requests to put an end to the divorce and show forgiveness for days. I had no reason to respond. I hoped she had finally given up. There was a hearing. It was evident from Jessie's attorney that she felt deceived and had no responsibility for the actions of her stalker. She went to counseling in hopes of saving her lovely marriage. My attorney began to object, but I interrupted. It would be fascinating, Jessie, if you could answer one of my questions during the lie detector test. Did you and Blake have sex before or after the petition? Her look said everything. I told him I hoped to never see him again. He is no longer a threat to our relationship. That is not relevant. You can't make up for your betrayal with counseling. But he was lying to me. It was you who fell for the trick. If a lady really loved me, she wouldn't have asked about the picture before assuming that a man she's known for years is attempting to get into her panties. Jessie just sat there crying. Finally, she instructed her attorney to comply with my requests. Kitty came in at that point. She apologized for being late and took a seat next to me, and Jessie thought, "That who? This is my girlfriend, Kitty Prescott. You were the reason we were able to get together. Me? I've never met her in my life. She sent me your divorce petition. If there had been another moment, someone else would have delivered the petition. It was meant to be. We discovered that we got along well and loved each other's company. She's simply a girl," I pointed out, never hinting that being snarky is acceptable. "She most likely is, but I haven't have concrete proof." Kitty said that he will soon find out if all the paperwork has been signed. "You're trying to tell me that you haven't had any sex with anyone yet?" Kitty resumed her conversation. "We are not going to reveal anything to you, Jessie. It's nothing to worry about anymore. You got rid of it." I decided to tackle it. According to his peculiar moral system, a married person should only have sexual relations with their spouse until the divorce is finalized. Most likely you've never heard of that. Kitty asked. Where would it be? Costa Rica or Hawaii? As she turned to face me. Why go to Hawaii for a week and Costa Rica for another? Those are the places we were going to. Jessie blurted out. I wouldn't have cheated on him if he hadn't. She realized her mistake before she could finish her sentence. She broke down again. We split the money we made from selling the house. Jessie relocated to a new apartment near her place of employment after discovering her fortune. Blake was fired when I told their employer the tale. Blake was allowed to stay on staff because I was able to convince Jessie that he had been lying to her and courting her. I had to pay a lot less in child support as a result. Blake's wife had him on a short leash. I was almost about to buy her a henhouse. It was several months before we eventually met Jessie. Kitty and I were out shopping at the mall. When she saw that we were familiar, she waved, smiled, and then suddenly ran away in tears. As Kitty put it, I wonder what happened to her. I'm not certain. Let's buy our maternity clothes as soon as possible. The ones we have now are out of date. Our son is going to do extremely well.